back to I Did This Instead of Killing Myself, stand-up comedy and lifestyle podcast based in Greenville, South Carolina. My name is David Bakker. It's the week of April 4th, 2022. Episode 48. Very special guest today. In fact, and if you're listening to this for the first time because you clicked on it because you saw that guy's name, thank you for clicking on it. This is a local stand-up comedy podcast. I know you want to talk to all the famous people. A lot of the guests on the show are not famous yet. But if you want to support a local scene and you want to hear from comics, especially if you're in the Southeast, a lot of the comics that are on this show have been doing stand-up for like 10 years or less, 5 years or less. If you're ever curious about open micing, all that kind of stuff, we talk about what it's like kind of and the stories of the individual people that are in a local scene. If you haven't and you want to do that, or also I do stand-up, you want to support my local stand-up, please like, comment, subscribe. I would appreciate it. But our guest today, very exciting. He's kind of a big deal. Brent Pella. Brent is a headliner, comedian. He came through the Greenville Comedy Zone and agreed to sit down for an interview. Brent's the man. I told him when we sat down, he's my new favorite comedian because he took time to talk with us. Brent is a stand-up comic, newest cast member on Nick Cannon's Wildin' Out Season 16. He's probably more known for his YouTube presence. This dude's hilarious. He's got a new video out every single week, and he's built up his following that way. His parody music videos and celebrity impressions have more than 100 million views online, and they've been featured on MTV, Funny or Die, Bro Bible, World Star, Hip Hop, and more. His background is in the improv world. He was a graduate of the UCB and Groundlings programs in LA. One of his funniest videos ever is How the Grinch Took Mushrooms. Dude, that video is friggin' hilarious. Go watch it after you watch this one. And Why You Shouldn't Fly Spirit Airlines. I haven't seen that one, but it sounds hilarious. But anyway, Brent's a really cool guy. We had a great conversation. We talked about how he built his YouTube channel from basically nothing, going back in college, when he made the decision to kind of just go off on his own and do entertainment versus taking like a normal job. Talked about he's a college athlete. Talked about that a little bit, and how his YouTube online presence kind of jives with what he's doing on stage and his act that he's built and taken on the road. So Brent's the man. I hope you enjoy our interview. I think you will. Before we get into the interview, here's what's going on this week in local comedy. If you're not from Greenville, feel free to skip ahead 2 minutes. Or click ahead on the YouTube chapters. All right, so this week, downtown Greenville at Coffee Underground, we have our local open mic. It's No Expectations Comedy. It starts at 7 o'clock. Get there at 6, a little after 6 to sign up. Hosted by Craig Holcomb, Travis Thubbin. On Tuesday in Columbia, we have the Art Bar open mic hosted by Patrick Fowler. DM Patrick to sign up. That show starts at 8:30. On Wednesday in Asheville, we have the Asheville Music Hall, the Disclaimer open mic. That show starts at 8 o'clock. Get there early to sign up. Usually they'll have room, but if you want to DM somebody, you can reach out to Carrie Goff. On Thursday, we have the Roast of Sauce Got Jokes, a.k.a. Anderson Nance. This is in Columbia at My House Restaurant and Bar. Sponsored by High Low Art. That starts at 8 o'clock, goes to 11 p.m. So we're going to roast that little bitch, Anderson. Moesha. Yeah, that'll be fun. Come on out if you want to see Sauce get roasted. Friday, Habiba's is back. Habiba's Mediterranean Restaurant. That is an open mic hosted by Dante Anderson. Pretty psyched. We got a Friday mic now. Now, even if you don't have a book show in your local comic, you can hit 5 mics a week. No excuse not to get better. So that show's going to start about 9 o'clock on Friday, so come on out. And this week at the Comedy Zone, our celebrity comedian Jason Banks. He's a TikToker, 4 million followers. There are coming out. I'm sure he's funny. Thursday, there's a show at 8 o'clock at the Comedy Zone. Friday, there's 2 shows at 7 and 9. And Saturday, there's 2 shows at 6 and 9. Tickets available at greenvillecomedyzone.com. All right. That's it for local comedy. Hope you guys have a great week, and I hope you enjoy my interview with Brent Pella. Here it is. Brent.
What's up, dude? What's up, dog?
You're my favorite comedian in the world.
You're my favorite comedian in the world, dude. Fuck that, dude. You're mine, dude.
Well, Brent is I just found out about you like literally less than a week ago.
Cool.
And we always kind of like shout out the local celebrity comics, but you're the first one I've been brave enough to like ask to be on this show.
Oh, cool. So, yeah, hell yeah.
Kudos to, and like you're a big deal, dude.
I'm not a big deal. No.
Everybody's
a big deal. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
humble and
it.
self-deprecating, so you got that built in. I love it.
I appreciate it, too.
But yeah, man, really appreciate you hanging out.
It's been a fun weekend, man. South Carolina is it's my favorite of the Carolinas, I must say.
Yeah.
At this point, it's top of the list. I've never been to North Carolina, so I'm a little biased, but
okay. Gotcha.
I'm having a good time.
What's been your experience so far? I mean, the crowds are definitely interesting. We've had like 4 shows so far.
But they come to party here, which I really like because I like to party. I like to think of the shows as a party, and everybody that's came out over the course of the weekend has been super fun and into it, and nobody's been like weird or angry or like tense.
Yeah.
And, I really like that.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. I mean, some people South Carolina, like you picked up, is kind of like a growing city. So there's older Southern people that just kind of want to come to a comedy show.
Yeah.
And then there's like, I mean, every other week we have like a famous black comedian coming in. So we'll have like this packed out with like all black crowd.
Yeah.
So it's just a mix
which are like
of
some of the most fun crowds.
Yeah. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of wanted to ask about your audience, because you have a wide, diverse audience. I mean, you have like your YouTube following, and then a little bit from Wildin' Out. So.
Yeah. It's audience wise, in comedy, I think we're always trying to figure out who likes us, so that we can start trying to reach them more and be like, hey, I like you too. You know?
Yeah.
But I think my audience online it's been fun to see that grow, and I think that grew primarily from videos I did, and then people following me on social media, and I've done 2 seasons on Wildin' Out now, but I think like still 90% of my audience is from my videos online. Yeah, which is in today's world, the easiest way to grow an audience is through the internet. Yeah, it used to be you grow an audience just by going to comedy clubs.
For sure.
You would find your audience live and in person. But now we live in this digital age where anybody in any place in the world can have an audience.
Yeah. How long ago did you start your YouTube channel?
I was doing videos on YouTube in college. I did a couple of comedy videos, like kind of Lonely Island style comedy music videos. Yeah, it wasn't anything serious.
Now that you mention that, you kind of have an Andy Samberg kind of
he's my favorite
style.
He's my favorite. He's one
influence?
of my he's on my Mount Rushmore of silly people.
Yeah.
I did that just for fun in college, and then I didn't really. There were different like levels of commitment to it for me. So I got to LA and I realized, I actually suck at this. So now I need to really try. And then a couple years later, it was like, I need to make 1 video a week. And then
so when you realized, sorry to cut you off, but when you realized you kind of quote unquote suck at this, that was like you were just starting out in college.
That was like
you got to LA and
so I graduated college and I had like 3 videos under my belt that all had like tens of thousands of views.
That's great,
which
man.
at the time was like very, very good. Yeah, especially they got really popular in Santa Barbara, which is where I went to college. Mm-hmm. And so I moved to Los Angeles, and I was like overly confident, like I know what I'm doing, dude. Yeah, I'm about to run this city.
What were your first videos that popped off? The 10,000 ones?
One was called my first. Let's see. I did 3 in a row that got really popular in Santa Barbara. The first one was very bad, but at the time it was like nobody was really doing that. It was a remix. You know that song "Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster"?
Yeah, hell yeah.
So this was a remix that I did my junior year.
From Office Space, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the.
I did "Damn It Feels Good to Finish Finals."
Okay,
and we shot it like in the library and the student union, and had all my friends in it. And obviously the performances were terrible because we weren't. I wasn't a performer back then.
Sure.
I was just a kid in college trying to make a funny video, right?
Yeah.
So, but it was still fun, and everybody really liked it.
That was the early days of YouTube as well.
That was when The Lonely Island was huge.
Because when did you graduate?
2012.
2012?
Yeah.
Same year I
Oh, cool.
graduated.
Yeah. So there was that one, and then a year later I did this music video called Bike Path Love, which was an original comedy song about falling in love on all the bike paths that were sprawling throughout our campus. And that one went like really viral in the city, and we actually performed it at like frat houses and like downtown at the local bar.
Oh, you performed it?
Yeah, yeah, it was cool. And again, like we weren't performers by any means. We were just kids in college trying to party. And but it was really fun, and it showed me, you know, I remember, I have this memory when that video came out, the Bike Path Love came out, because it was actually like a really well done video for being in college. And I was going for a run through our like little college town with houses everywhere that college kids lived in, and this girl was out front in the lawn, like suntanning with her friend and drinking a beer or whatever. And I ran by, and she yelled out, she was like, "Hey!" And I looked over, I was like, "Hi." I just thought she was saying hi just to mess around. And then she said, "I love your video. I'm a fan." And that was the first time anyone had ever... I wasn't doing stand-up at this time.
Right.
This was the only like comedy thing I'd ever done. And I will always remember that, because it was like the first time I ever felt like validation. Yeah. You know? And it was really cool. And then
something you made somebody actually...
Yeah, it made someone happy with like a... Yeah, and it was really cool, man. And so like... I made another one a couple months later called Walk of Shame, which was just like another like classic college comedy thing. And it was fun. It was just like there was no intention behind it. There was no like, let's get famous energy. It was all just like,
just want to make something fun.
Yeah, let's be dumb and silly and try to be as close to Lonely Island as we can.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did that transition into stand-up comedy? Like, because some dudes just stay influencers and do that. But when did you go from the digital videos to...
So I moved to Los Angeles right after college, and I didn't do stand-up my first year. I made a couple other funny videos, but I was working a lot on producing and directing music videos for like local underground rappers and stuff like that. And I was also working at Cheesecake Factory. That was my day job for as soon as I moved to LA. So I was doing that for a while. And then I started like noticing like, okay, everybody in LA is at these improv schools, the Groundlings, UCB. And I looked at all my heroes, Will Ferrell, Jimmy Fallon, Tina Fey. All those guys went up through these schools of improv and sketch. And then I started going to shows, going to shows live and seeing people do stand-up. And I was like, wow, these guys are really good. I'm not good. Why am I not that good? And it was that like competitive nature, that we get from sports.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I just did an open mic one day and did terribly. And it was like that competitive drive. And it was like, I can't suck at this.
Do you remember what you attempted your first time? Like what kind of material?
Yeah, so it was a show. There was a stand-up show followed by an open mic right after, and everybody got 1 minute. You got 60 seconds. And I didn't know that they were going to do that. I was just there to see the show. But I was like, fuck it. I mean, I'm here by myself. I don't know any of these people. I might as well. Yeah. And so I put my name in the bucket, and I started like going through the news headlines to see what was trending. Sure. And I like riffed on, God, there were two things. One was about like, there was a headline. It was a BuzzFeed style headline that was something like John Hamm looks trendy as he walks his dog in this new sweatpants brand. And I was like, why is this? I was talking about that. And then I said, but John Hamm, I love any actor whose last name is a food. You know, I love Jerry Rice. I love Fiona Apple, any entertainer whose last name is a food. And it didn't get any laughs.
Did you get nothing?
No, I got nothing.
I probably would have laughed at it.
But it was still fun. You know. And then right around the same time, I signed up for lessons at UCB to do improv. So I started improv and stand-up at the same time. And I kept making videos. So the three were kind of like this three-headed thing for me.
So when you start improv early, I mean, improv, I've never done an improv class, but stuff that they do in improv is so off the wall. Like there's a lot of like, you just do a random ass character. You'll do crazy stuff.
There is structure to it, depending on like the school of thought behind it. So like UCB is different from Groundlings. in their approach, but they're both the same fundamentally.
Sure.
And this is like super like nerdy comedy stuff, but
I nerd out all the time on this shit, but
yeah, it's like at Groundlings, it's much more character driven.
Okay.
So if you're improvising a scene, you know, they'll say you are like an aunt and you are the nephew, and let's give them an activity. Okay, you're gardening. Go.
Okay.
And now you're an aunt and a nephew gardening.
Sure.
So immediately you have to improvise as those characters, and you have to commit to those characters. What's the relationship? Why are you gardening?
Yeah.
And the comedy comes from whatever. Like maybe the aunt is like, I mean, right now I'm improvising it just to give you a fucking example. But like maybe the aunt is like a addicted to gardening. Like she loves fucking.
Okay.
Maybe the kid just wants to like make weed, like garden weed plants, whatever it is. That, and it's character driven, right? Yeah. Whereas like at UCB, it would be more cerebral and like kind of yourself. You're not so much a character. You're a character, but you're still yourself.
And you did UCB?
I did both.
You did both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did UCB for the first 3 years, and then Groundlings took me another 3 years after that.
The reason I wanted to ask is because like I wanted to ask how it affected your stand-up. Because if somebody just starts doing stand-up and no improv, like when I see your act and I see you do a character, like you are like that guy. You're not bailing on it at all.
Yeah, you gotta commit.
You gotta commit. Dude, if I try and act out on stage, I'm shitting my pants like 5 seconds into the act out, and I'm like, dude, if I'm not getting a reaction, I want to pull the ripcord.
Sure.
So I kind of wanted to just like, do you think that gave you more confidence with your act outs?
Yeah,
like,
definitely. You know, any stand-up that wants to add another dimension to their act, I would strongly suggest improv. I know there's a weird like rivalry between improv and stand-up.
Yeah, we have a local theater here with that.
Yeah, stand-ups for some reason like hate improv because they think it's trash, and you know, bad improv is like the worst thing to watch. There's nothing worse than bad improv. When improv is bad, my God.
You'd rather watch a shitty open mic stand-up?
Dude, I'd rather watch a murder-suicide than watch bad improv. It is the worst ever.
Yeah.
But really, really good improv at its best, I think, is the heart of comedy, because you are pulling funny out of nothing, and there's no planning, and it's in the moment. The callbacks, the moments, the reactions are so pure and authentic that there's no higher form of comedy to me. But there's a happy place where they can mesh and come together, and you know, character acting is kind of that. It's kind of like acting. It's a whole different thing. But then like improv is like crowd work, or coming up with a tag on the spot, or like a reaction to your own bit, you know, and improv, doing an improv class or understanding the basics can kind of start working out that muscle, I think.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So were you pretty all in on stand? I mean, you did Groundlings and UCB, and then you're doing stand-up the whole time in LA? Like, okay.
Yep. Doing stand-up the whole time in LA. UCB and Groundlings at the same time. Cheesecake Factory at the same time.
Now, you went to college too, and you were an athlete, basketball player.
Yeah.
And your school was out, I forget where it was. It was out
UC Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz,
yep.
Okay.
The Banana Slugs.
Right. Shout out, Banana. I think I've heard of them, actually.
Where did you play football?
Hillsdale College. It's D2 up in Michigan.
Okay, cool. What'd you play, receiver?
I actually played defensive end.
Oh, wow.
I was a big guy.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I've been like 50 pounds
Were you bigger than you are now?
Yeah, I was like 255, 260.
Oh, so you were like bulky.
Yeah, dude, wow. I was like fat, though. Like
you were like they football bulk.
Yeah, but I would play Mike linebacker, and I was playing at 230, and then I had to gain weight in one off season because they moved me to defensive end.
Whoa.
So yeah, the weight was just everything. Like, it was muscle, but it was a lot of just.
Were you like drinking eggs? Yeah.
Dude, I was eating 3 sub sandwiches at lunch every day, and just the carbs was just loading on.
Yeah, my buddy played football at Washington State, which is D1. So and he was he was a defensive tackle or something. He was what's that guy's name? Sam Donald?
Aaron Donald?
Aaron Donald?
Yeah.
Donald Aaron?
I should know this.
You guys know. He was that guy's position.
Yeah.
So he had to be like fast and massive.
Dude, yeah,
that's
absolutely.
crazy.
I wish I had more time to put the weight on. We just graduated a guy, and they needed me to start there right away. But yeah, the premier athletes, like, they have low body fat. They're huge, and they're insanely athletic. D ends and D tackles.
Yeah, so. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I played wing in high school and some point, and then when I got to college, it was D3.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 6'1", like 180, 185, and it was at the D3 level, you can play wing when you're 6'1" because it's a little smaller.
Okay.
So I played wing for college. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I was going to ask, because, I mean, going to college, you did, like, the YouTube stuff, and, like, you had a degree, but you also had this path in entertainment that's probably a lot less guaranteed.
Trash. Yeah.
So, like, did you have a decision point where you're like, well, I could get a job, like a
I
normal
realized,
job, or I'm all in on freaking comedy?
I ended up realizing sometime in my senior year that the degree meant nothing because it would never come in handy.
What
I would
was it?
never use it. Film and media studies. So it wasn't even like making movies.
You're kind of using it?
It was like, no, I'm not. I swear to God, I would be, if I was like writing a weekly essay on German propaganda movies in the 1930s, then I would be using my degree. But I'm not, because the degree was like, we were studying the philosophy of filmmaking.
Okay.
And it was all very lecture driven. Nothing was hands on.
I got you.
I took one production class in college, and it was at the very end of my senior year. So everything I learned in production and lighting and cinematography was all from independent work outside of class. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, but then, and so I like literally stopped going to school.
Yeah?
I would show up late. I wouldn't show up at all. I wouldn't care.
Okay.
My grades started dropping, but like my grades didn't matter. Right? Like I ended up with right around a 3.0, 3.1.
Sure. Killing it.
Which I did for my mom. Yeah. Like, and I walked and that was it. But I realized, like, wow, college is so unnecessary for some people.
Yeah.
I loved going to college, and I would never change it because I got to meet so many awesome creative people, and I built relationships and like, grew as a person.
Sure.
But man, it just didn't, that degree and like what I learned in the actual classes was so meaningless.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's more and more that way.
For me. That's
I think college is, it's tough. People now get hundreds, thousands of dollars in debt, and they come out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, do you still have people with your crew or from your crew? Like you said, you met a lot of creative people. Do you still have people that work with you today?
Yeah.
From back.
Yeah, not hand in hand, but we keep in touch. There's a lot of people in Los Angeles that are from Santa Barbara that kept working in film, but more so like my friend group in college stayed really close. Okay. And that was cool because that helps.
Yeah, because I noticed in some of the videos you put out now, you'll have like, there were girls that were acting out famous celebrities and stuff like that. So you have like is it like a production company you guys are
no,
with,
we just have
get
friends.
Together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's way more laid back than I think people think. It's like we'll hit each other up like, yo, are you free Thursday? Can you shoot for 2 hours?
That's great.
Yeah, come over. Let's do it.
That's awesome.
And we exchange energy like that and help out on each other's projects, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of reminds me, I don't know if you know Shane Gillis.
Yeah, but, hilarious.
Yeah, like they got that Gillian Keeves.
Yes,
they do sketches.
Some of the best stuff on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely. I think it's cool that you can kind of make a path that way now.
Yeah, you don't need like industry, you don't need the industry to give you the green light anymore. You just give yourself the green light and you let the industry come to you. And then when they come to you, maybe you tell them to fuck off.
Yeah. Have you ever told the industry to fuck off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to be super desperate to have like an agent and a manager and like get rep and get in front of like these people. And then somewhere around 2018, I started realizing like, all right, it's not really happening like that for me. So maybe I should just say fuck all those people and do it myself. And then 2019, I really revved up in that front.
Right.
And
so in 2016, what did that look like? I mean, how are you?
2016?
Yeah. Well, I thought somewhere around that time frame when the traditional agent thing wasn't happening. What kind of stuff were you doing?
That was like 2018. I was really trying to position myself in a way that the industry would like me. Like I was trying to be liked by the industry, and looking back, you could probably see it in my material, in my videos. I wasn't doing anything political at all. I was really trying to be like loved by everybody in a way.
Okay.
And I was, and in doing so, I wasn't being authentic to myself, and I wasn't like connecting with my own truth and my own perspective. I didn't really have a perspective.
Sure.
And so once I realized that, I started creating content and writing material that spoke to who I was.
Sure.
And slowly chipping away at that wall, to the point where when the wall comes down, now I get like the people who like me, and then there's people who won't like me,
Right.
and I had to.
We don't have an attachment either way.
Yeah, I had to kind of accept that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, wouldn't you rather have some people love you than everybody kind of like you?
Yeah.
You know. So
yeah.
once I broke that down on a personal level, I created space to connect more authentically with my own truths about my perspective toward the world, current events, politics, cultural movements, social things. And that allowed me to really put out content that spoke to my beliefs and then attract people who also believed.
Can you give me an example of like how the shift happened in your material? Like what did it go from? Like what kind of things were you now probing into that were more authentic to you?
There were kind of two levels. The first was I'd never done an impression before.
Really?
I was really nervous. This is 2018 maybe.
So 6 years from college, no impressions.
No impressions yet. Or at least none. I can't remember any that I did. Maybe I don't think so. I think the first one I ever did online was Eminem.
Okay.
And it was like his new album just came out.
Yeah.
It was like 2018. I'd never done an impression, and I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to try something new.
Sure.
And I was really scared. But, you know, sometimes you have to, I think, and, you know, I'm not trying to be some fucking guru here, but, you know, sometimes you got to face your fears and act on those fears to blow those away so that you can accomplish something bigger than what your fears seem to be.
Right.
And I did this Eminem impression, and it ended up going mega viral. And I was like, oh, shit, look at that. I totally, like, acted in a way to fight my fear on this, and look at what happened.
So what were you afraid of? That it looked stupid? That
I would be dumb, that it wouldn't be funny, that people would hate it, that I'd be bagged on, and I'd become like a joke, and no one would like it. And you know, it's a monstrous fear for anybody in the creative arts. And so, but I said, fuck it. I said, you know what? If they don't like it, fuck them. I'm gonna make something I like. I'm gonna make sure if I don't like it when I'm done editing it, I won't put it out. But I did like it, and I put it out. And, you know, plenty of people didn't like it. I got all kinds of weird death threats from random Instagram kids in India because apparently Eminem has a massive fan base out in Bangladesh. But it also went mad viral on Reddit and a couple other places, WorldStar. And that was like a lesson that was like, yo, face your fears. If you have hesitancy, act on that shit. And so that was then. And then fast forward to 2020 when COVID hit, I started getting political for the first time. Because I disagreed with a lot of the mainstream narrative on some I was never like an anti whatever or like crazy person, but there were some things that I just like didn't agree with, and I wanted to speak out, and it was dangerous because as soon as you go against CNN, all of a sudden you're an anti-mask transphobic racist, and I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna plant my flag on Team Brent, and I'm just gonna speak my fucking mind. And I did, and it ended up really working. And I ran with that all through 2020, to the point where I gained a lot of my following during that 2020 year. And I actually ended up making enough money to move out of my apartment into a different apartment on my own. And these things kept happening as I continued to like follow my own truth and like stay authentic to what I believed in. And it just was like, it was backing up that lesson that I had learned.
So you noticed kind of a snowball effect of that.
Yeah, it was a snowball effect. And it was like, it was cool because I felt like I was finally like acting of my own accord instead of acting to what the industry would want to see or what the mainstream comedy world would want to see. I was like, fuck that. I'm going to do what I want to do. And anybody who likes my stuff can jump on board. And if you don't, then fine. There's plenty of other people to go enjoy and be fans of. I don't need everybody as a fan, you know?
Dude, it's such a relief to get that perspective.
Yeah.
In anything. I had a similar, that's why I started stand-up. But I was miserable in a job, wasn't creatively fulfilling at all, but it was stressful. So the only thing I, was doing outside of work was partying. Yeah. It was just like, dude, and it wasn't until COVID happened. Like I started 2 years ago doing stand-up. Yeah. But a lot of it was because I was just doing what other people thought was cool. Like the job was esteemed in the eyes of others, so I was like, that's what I'm going to do.
You started doing stand-up during COVID?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, here, South Carolina, Red State, we had 2 or 3 mics going in July of 2020. So most of the world was locked down. So we had mics from then up until now, basically.
Nice.
At least 2 a week. But yeah, I mean, we took those early days. We took protocols. We used disinfectant and everything,
Sure.
and nobody's showing up to these mics anyway, so we
It was just
automatically
comics, probably, right?
Yeah, basically
Yeah.
comics.
Yeah.
And I mean, Greenville didn't shut down as bad as other parts, so
Yeah.
but yeah, man, I had to really let go of what other people thought. I mean,
Yeah,
shit.
that letting go is like the hardest thing, because there's such a comfort in trying to do what you think other people will enjoy.
Yeah.
And there's such a discomfort in disconnecting from that to follow your own kind of heart.
Yeah.
But when you do uncomfortable things, I feel like you just get stronger. That's
Sure.
I only speak from my personal experience.
Sure.
I'm not a fucking life coach.
Yeah.
But if you really try to face those fears in whatever realm of creativity or work there is, and you try to do something based on your own interests, then people will gravitate toward that because you're acting authentically.
Yeah. They can kind of tell.
Yeah.
I feel like they can tell on stage too.
Yeah.
When you're actually in it, or when the bit means something, or versus when it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, how long have you been back on tour?
So I actually started. I only took a couple months off during COVID, so that was like March through May. I don't think I did stand up at all.
Okay.
And then in June 2020, I started opening for my buddy on the road because he was going to all the Trump town states. He was going to Texas.
Who were you opening for? Can you,
JP Sears.
JP Sears?
Yeah,
Okay.
long red hair, makes a lot of videos on YouTube. Hilarious.
Okay.
A very good friend of mine. And he's very political. And a large portion of his fan base leans right.
Sure.
And so he had gigs through the South and
Yep.
Utah, West Virginia, all these places that were open.
Mhm.
And here I am in what was, for all intents and purposes, a prison of California.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to get out. And so we
Yeah.
cruised out. And, dude, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, not only is he a good friend and we have a great time hanging, but
Uh-huh.
I also got the opportunity, thanks to him, to continue performing
Sure.
through the summer months of
Sure.
COVID, when people were allowed to make their own choices.
Yeah.
And that was like that was one of my big, the things that I wanted to stand for, is like, make your own choice.
Yeah.
All the data is available.
Yeah.
You're going to be dumb,
Don't force
go be
people to
dumb.
do shit.
But
Yeah.
so we were out in Texas and Florida and all these places, and I was featuring for him, which was great.
Mhm.
And as the audience started to build, I got more and more like one-nighters, Thursdays
Hell
and
yeah.
Sundays.
Okay.
And I would also go back to the clubs where I featured for him.
Sure.
And I'd say, hey, can I come do a Thursday now? You guys
Okay.
saw me a few months ago, da-da-da. And so now I'm just barely getting into like my own weekends,
Hell
which
yeah.
is like the next step.
That's
which is
great.
cool.
So
Yeah.
this weekend is like
It's part of this first wave for me of like
that's awesome.
figuring it out.
Dude, how you
over
liking
the course
it?
of a full weekend. It's great. It's super
Yeah?
fun. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got to figure out what to do about my voice though, because I yell so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're
I
not
need,
going to
like,
go
tea.
too long for that.
No,
for
you're
sure.
good. I'm chill, but that's the one thing is, you've seen me on a couple shows now.
Yeah.
I get pretty loud.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta train my vocal cords or drink some tea or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's been great, dude.
Yeah.
It's super fun. It's an awesome like evolution to be going through, I think.
Well, I'm impressed. I mean, as like this is a newer podcast for like episode 50 or whatever. A lot
Cool.
of people who listen to it are some of our comics are local headline level. They'll do 45-minute sets, but a lot of us are doing like 5 to 15 minutes max.
Sure.
So when I see a full stand-up act building to that, I mean, that's
Yeah.
really impressive to be able to handle that.
Yeah, it's been fun, dude. It's cool.
Well, good shit, man.
Yeah, dude.
We're only at about a half hour.
Thank you.
How's your
man.
dating life? I was going to ask about that. You're still single?
I'm not.
You're not?
I do have a GF.
Oh, you got a girlfriend?
I do.
Okay,
I do. Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
How's that been with
It's
this
great.
rise
It's
to
great.
comedy?
It's fun. She's an actor in LA, and
Okay.
during COVID, I made a lot of homemade pasta
Yeah.
that she enjoyed eating. But yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. Yeah,
I gotcha.
yeah. And touring is interesting for like friendships and relationships. because I'm only whenever I am back in LA, I really just want to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exhausting.
But, you know, we shoot so much still, so it's like I don't really go out that much in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Just because I'm so exhausted.
Yeah. Are you out of like a party phase of your life?
Yeah, I had that.
You've had that?
Man, it was fun. I
Yeah.
still love to party.
Yeah.
Still, I go to a lot of music festivals over the
Okay.
summer. That's my favorite place to party.
Uh-huh.
But definitely not in the bar scene anymore.
Yeah.
You know, that was like early 20s.
For sure.
Had a blast.
Yeah.
Not down anymore at all. I was walking through downtown
Yeah.
last night, dude, trying to find food.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was packed and
Yeah.
sweaty. And there were dudes like trying to fight each other as usual.
Yeah.
And, like yelling girls that are, it was,
Yeah.
I get it. And
Yeah.
I but I did that. And it's funny how, like, you know, I'm 31 now, so like 8 years ago,
Yeah.
I would have been like, oh, like, which bar do I go to, dude? We gotta go right now. Which one has the hottest girls, dude? That one, that one.
Right.
But now I'm like, where's my fucking Uber?
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
But yeah, the party phase, I guess it's moved on to a different type of party
Yeah,
phase. now,
yeah.
you
I
know?
quit drinking about the same time I started stand up.
Oh, cool.
So I'm kind of over that too. Although I still will go out after shows sometimes just to hang.
Yeah.
Weed's not legal here, but we got some Delta
That's crazy.
8 straight. Yeah, I know.
That is crazy.
I know. That's the one thing we got to take from Cali.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you need that.
So, where do you see yourself going? I mean, where would you want to see your career going? Like, if you could, next 10 years maybe.
Yeah, whenever I get asked that, I kind of say the same thing. Like, I don't really want to predict it because it's way more fun to wake up every day and have something new to do.
Yeah.
Like, a couple years ago, I wanted to be in a position where I could make enough money to spend all of that money on a really awesome video. And now I'm doing that. So, like, I did a brand deal recently, and I spent 100% of the check on this video that I just shot. So I like did an ad for the brand. They paid me. I took all of that money and rented a location and paid a couple friends extra to be in this video for their time and a camera guy to edit it and everything. And so I'm like doing that.
Yeah.
And now I want to do like the next level of that. So whatever that next level is, maybe it's like pitching a show idea about these aliens that I want to make a TV show about, or like a feature within the next couple of years. So yeah, and then just evolving the live show. Like you saw kind of some of it this weekend with the media and the characters and the stuff that we project on TVs, and that's a blast. So I want to try to take
Appreciate
that to
you
the
rolling
next
with
level.
our audiovisual difficulties too.
The tech here is from the 1920s, but we're making it work. You know, it's
we're prepared to hit play on YouTube and play a song.
There are 97 wires over here. Not a single one of them is in use.
It could be a fire hazard.
It is a fire hazard, and
Yeah.
somebody's gonna get electrocuted. This thing has like 3 antennas.
Yeah.
And the headphones are broken.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but it's still fun. It's still fun. We're making it work.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just kind of evolving everything. Like if in 3 years I'm doing the same thing I'm doing right now, I'll be pretty upset.
Okay.
Like right now, I'm doing the same thing I was doing 2 years ago, but at a new level. And so I want to keep that going.
What do you like more, stand up or the video editing?
Oh man,
in the content creation.
I like them. They're both so different to me.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no better feeling than getting a laugh on stage.
Yeah.
Like feeling wise and emotion wise, there's nothing more fulfilling than getting a pop of laughter in the moment. But there's also there's a different type of fulfillment to writing a joke, crafting a video, and then making it from scratch in the edit. Yeah. So it's 2 different types of fulfillment to me. But both are very fun. Yeah. And so I want to keep trying to evolve that.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Well, I can let you go here, bro. But dude,
bro, we're hanging, we're partying.
We are.
In Greenville.
Yeah, we got a show tonight. This will go up way later than that. But for anybody watching this, check him out. He didn't have to do this. This is like his time's valuable.
Of course I did. Yeah. We're hanging, bro.
Nice guy. Awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Having fun with you this weekend, man.
Yeah.
Are you having a good time?
I'm having a blast.
How many times have you hosted here?
Dude, I've only hosted a handful of times and got a couple feature spots. But this is one of the first time I've hosted the whole weekend.
Cool.
So it's been a blast.
Right
and,
on.
Yeah, appreciate them letting me do that. And I'm sure all the comics who listen to that. I mean, this podcast doesn't have the following you have, so you're doing this for us, bro. So
no, I'm happy to, dude. Yeah, it's all about, we're all in the fam together, dude. We're all just humans trying to figure it out.
That's right.
We're all just humans trying to figure it out, dude.
That's right. And do you have anything specific you wanted to shout out? I'll link all your stuff. But
yeah, if anybody wants to watch some videos, it's at Brent Pella on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody wants to see a show, it's brentpella.com/shows. That's all. Yeah.
Yep. You're all over, right?
Yeah.
You're touring nationally.
Yeah. Yep. Bigger tour, hopefully this summer from like June through October.
Okay.
Trying to set that up. Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah,
Good shit,
we're living.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yep.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.